Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this important webinar, Prioritize Your Personal Vision. In the meantime, while we wait for people to join, you may use your chat box and just say who you are and from where you are until we feel that most people joined. We will introduce the speaker, and online we have myself, Elmi Castleman, we have Marika Bain, who will be the host, and she will introduce Ricardo Smart, our presenter, and we also have Natasha Maharaj from the South African team online. And thank you very much, Melissa, for joining us. It's great to have you online. So we also wait for the others to announce themselves, who you are and from where you are. Welcome, everybody. Use your chat function for that. Hello, Renee from Newcastle. Hello, Sade. You've attended one of our others as well. Welcome. And to Lisa from Cape Town. Good to see you. Tasneem. Hi, Tasneem. Amber from Stellenbosch. Hi. And Naledi. Glad that you're here. Michael is here. Laura from South Africa as well. Angelina from the Free State. Ruchira, Naledi from Welcome. Amaral from Wits. Joshua, welcome everybody. Asmita, glad to have you here. Also a PhD candidate, something she has in the same as Ricardo, the word just slipped my mind. Hello Sabisilu, hello Nomosantu, hello Daniel, Portia, Roveningu, that's great. People are joining at a good speed. We enjoy that. Thank you very much. Andre from Walpark, Sikumbile, welcome. Finn from NMU. We have another PhD candidate online, Ricardo. Menelisi from UKZN, Victoria from Northwest, Schlengiwe from UKZN, Avi from Gibbs. Good to have you online, Avikar. Bridget from Northwest, Ahmina from Newcastle, although currently in Pretoria. Corleen from Pretoria, Vuyu from Joburg, Bridget from Northwest. Great to see so many people online. We really appreciate your participation, and you will not regret the time that you spent with Ricardo tonight. Asmita Singh, Ricardo, is a PhD candidate from Stellenbosch. I'm sure you know her. She's also online. Monica from Bloemfontein. Londeka from NMU. Welcome, everybody. It's wonderful to have you with us. And it's 6:01, and I'll give it 2 more minutes because I do not want to take away from Ricardo's time. But people are joining at quite a speed. Londeka, hi. Prince from Sierra Leone, welcome. It's great to have global attendance all the way from Atlanta, all the way from Sierra Leone. Cherie from Pretoria. The locals will never leave us behind. Clinton, also a PhD candidate, Ricardo. He's actually Marcin Kube. I'm sure you know him. Good, yes, yes. I see Ricardo is acknowledging you. So we all have one thing in common, and that is that we are Golden Key members and that we want to know how to live a life with a vision, a purposeful life. So, Ricardo, I'm going to hand over to Marika. Marika is going to introduce you, and then the show will be yours. Thanks, Marika.
Hello and welcome to the newly launched Golden Key Academy, a place of online learning developed by Golden Key specially for our members. It has been created in response to feedback from our members telling us they want more career support and expert guidance. One of the best things we offer as part of the Golden Key Academy is a packed schedule of live webinars like this one. We are doing our best to select speakers and topics that are relevant to you. Today we'll be focusing on prioritizing your personal vision with the amazing Ricardo Smart. Ricardo Smart is a PhD candidate in wine biotechnology at Stellenbosch University in South Africa. He is a hardworking and inspiring leader that is conscientious, and dedicated to whatever he does. He is the recipient of the 2019 Golden Key International Leadership Council Award of the Community Leadership and currently serves as the alumni liaison for the Golden Key Southern Africa office. Ricardo always strives to deliver his best in a professional environment and encourage his peers to do the same. He is well organized with a clear plan for tackling tasks to ensure his highest quality and the best standards for an organization are upheld. He understands the power of education and believes that knowledge is the key to innovation. Welcome, Ricardo, and over to you.
Thank you, Maria. Good evening, South Africa and our international so thank you, and Marika, for the introduction, and thank you for the honor to present the content that I'm about to share with the Golden Key on the Golden Key platform, and I hope that it's going to be fruitful and everyone will be able to learn something. So the talk about today is to talk about how to prioritize your personal vision. And the reason why I have your personal vision is because it reflects on who you want to be and where do you see yourself. So questions that we always are being asked as we obviously get older. The first question is, where do you see yourself over 5 years? Sometimes when that question is being asked, we are overwhelmed because we never have thought about it. Sometimes we're giving answers that might sound unrealistic and also sometimes impossible, because I can clearly remember when I was matric and then someone asked me in 5 years, which means I will be about 23 at the time. They're thinking, no, I will have my own car, I will have my own business, I will have my own house, and I will live in a double story and all that type of stuff. And then we tend to think, but when I was 23, and then you will look back and say, but I didn't even get close to what I thought I'd be. But the personal vision is a long life journey where you will continuously
Sorry, Ricardo. Sorry, Ricardo, it's Elmi. I think you should switch off your video. It seems to us that we may have a bad connection, and I do not want people to lose anything what you're saying. So if you don't mind, just switch off your...
All right. Should I, okay, just explain to me, are you seeing double screens or do you see one screen? What seems to be the problem?
We see one screen, but you break up and we actually lost you now.
Now?
All right, you're back. Just try again for me.
All right. Uh, okay. Can
It's better.
Elmi,
It,
okay, is it better now?
it's better now. Thank you. Sorry, Ricardo.
Right. No problem. Sorry about that, guys. So ideally, your personal vision is something that you will continuously improve yourself and then ideally get to where you want to be at that time you set up for yourself. But if you continue pushing and continue striving to where you want to be, I think that all that unrealistic goals that you've set up for yourself will eventually become possible. Therefore, this is just a brief introduction. This is based on what Marika has shared. But what I ideally want to focus is my Golden Key involvement. So this year, I'm 10 years involved with Golden Key. And when I was a first year, I never knew about Golden Key. I didn't know what Golden Key was about and what it stands for. So if I could think back when I was a first year, to be honest, I never thought that I would have an opportunity to put my foot on a plane. Firstly, let alone traveling internationally. So when I started my first year, the only thing that I told myself was to push myself harder than when I was matric, so that I can be the first one in my family to obtain a degree. So when I was in my first year, I pushed myself so hard to a certain point that I actually get the invitation from Golden Key to become a member. And once I've accepted the invitation to become a member, I realized the opportunities that Golden Key gives to its members, and because there are certain new avenues that are available, for example, being able to apply for scholarships, being able to attend local and international summits, that that required me to go back to my original vision board and make changes to what are presented to me now. Because like I said in the beginning, I never thought that I would be able to travel locally nor internationally. But now, as I have focused on my one goal, other opportunities have been opened. So now I need to adjust my current vision board to say, but now I'm able to travel. Now I am able to attend leadership conferences. And then when I attended these conferences, I've realized, but there are opportunities for me to present at these conferences. So now I can slot into my vision board that now I can present on a local platform and on an international platform. So the journey that I'm trying to take you guys on was, firstly, I had a certain plan, but now when the time has gone on, new avenues have been opened, which means I can now start slotting in to my first mind map, not mind map, sorry, my first vision board. And then ideally you will become more challenged, you will improve in certain skills, you will become more confident and about where you want to go. And you are actually, when someone is going to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years time, then you will confidently say, I see myself as an academic, I see myself as a researcher, I see myself as a winemaker, without any hesitancy, which means you have thought about it. And because now that I've discovered the platform that Golden Key has provided, and that's where I truly explore my service, because I love community service. I truly believe that I have a passion for service and I have a heart for community service. And I have been doing community service ever since my first year until to date in my final stages of my PhD. I'm still doing community service. And the privilege that I had was that Golden Key recognized the efforts that I've been doing all these years to help other people, especially from disadvantaged communities or under-resourced communities, and I have been recognized in those platforms. But getting that recognition was not necessarily part of my vision or my vision board or my goal for that matter, because I purely did it for my passion. But then those opportunities also came along and also started to slot in and became part of my overall picture of my vision. So that is just giving you a broad overview of who I am and also the topic that we will be discussing today. The first thing, before I can continue talking about your vision and how to go about achieving your goals, we need to distinguish what is the difference between someone that have a vision and someone that don't have one. So someone without a vision always oftenly see himself difficult to achieve goals, and that may be influenced by many factors, including they don't have the resources, the dreams may feel unrealistic. Like I said in the beginning, when I asked myself at 18, where do I see myself at over 5 years, which means at 23, car, house, being in a professional position. But when I got to 23, I still found myself to be a student. And because over 5 years is a lot, it's a long time, and then people get they get demotivated. Then they will start to lack of enthusiasm, and obviously it just feels like time is passing by. But the most important thing about a person that doesn't have a vision, they have no long-term goals. They just go by day and just take life as it comes. But a person with a vision is significantly different from someone that don't have a vision. So someone with a vision, they will always try to push themselves, always try to improve themselves. If I can think of someone that runs 100-meter, if he takes a first run and he finishes at 13 seconds, and he do another one and he finished at 12 seconds and a half, that is an achievement for that person, which means that you need to, once you have improved yourself, like celebrate yourself, celebrate those small winnings or that small achievement, because if you celebrate that, that will allow you to do better tomorrow. And before you know it, you are the ideal person that you wish you were. And then also you are able to challenge yourself even further to go beyond the point that you actually set for yourself. And I've mentioned also previously, like, people with a vision are quite confident. They know exactly where they're going, and they're always up for challenges. When I'm in a research meeting with my academic research group, and then when it's my time to present, and they will tell, like, either my supervisor or my research members will tell me, Ricardo, I want you to push yourself to send us a full draft the next time we need to present something. And then I will take up that challenge, because although it might seem unrealistic due to I need to do a lot of things at a short period of time, but I will eventually try to get there. But if I don't get there, then I can still communicate and say, guys, this is what I was able to get, but I honestly did try to push myself. And then once I ideally have the draft, the full draft, and I look back, then I can honestly tell myself, but you, Ricardo, you literally came a long way by investing in yourself. And then another thing about a person that have a vision is that they are excited about the unknown. because it is within that unknown area where you honestly find where your passion is. You will oftenly discover new things about yourself. For example, if someone now should invite me to go skydiving, I will say, I will honestly say, hell no, because it's the height and it's the free falling and I could die and all that kind of stuff. But if I think about it, I will mentally prepare myself. And then if it should get to a point where I need to skydive and I do it, I think the once I have gone through that experience, as terrifying it may be, I could perhaps um, learn not to fear for things that I actually have a fear of. So then, because I mean, free falling out of the sky for me, it's a fear. So I have actually overcome something, and that will motivate me to actually to overcome other type of fears that I think I have, but I've never encountered with it. So I will eventually overcome that, and that will make you a better person than you have been previously. Also, another thing, self motivation. This is one of the key things of a person with a vision is self motivation. They're self motivated. You don't need other people to encourage you, inspire you to do things. If you can do it yourself, you are able to get much further than you anticipated. Um, because if you're gonna if your mood or your state of mind is dependent on other people, um, that could either that could either delay your progress or eventually lead you just to quit because you don't there's no one else that motivates you but a person that knows where they're heading have their own perspective of what they want to do and where they want to be, and because they understand it, that is the reason why they do it. So self-motivation is one of the key aspects. But also when you are on a journey, learning your strengths and weaknesses are crucial. And once you know what your strengths are, you can you can push yourself further beyond what you have imagined you are capable of. And knowing your weaknesses, if you know your weaknesses, then you can start building a strategy how to overcome your weaknesses. So one of my weakness was that undergrad I never took notes. If you tell me like, or if a lecturer says something, I don't necessarily take notes, or I need to be somewhere at a particular time. I don't make notes. And then the thing about not taking notes for me is your day gets busy or your year gets busy, so you tend to forget information. So it requires you to do much more research. If it is when it gets to academics, it requires you to do more research. When it gets to a friend's a celebration of a friend, and you have forgotten about their birthday, but they gave it to you 3-4 weeks ago. That embarrassment of, oh my gosh, I forgot my best friend's birthday or something. So because that was my weakness, because I never took notes and had to rely on my memory to keep all this important information, I have tend to forget things. So one of my weaknesses, how I overcame one of my weaknesses, actually to go by book and actually start to note it down. And if you tell me something now, I do note it now, so that in case I need to prepare for this presentation, for example, I can start weeks before and actually prepare it. So when it gets to that day, I'm able to deliver my best for that matter. And so the concept what I want to bring out of that is, if you know your weaknesses, you can start building a system that can assist you overcoming your weakness, right? So these are just a few of the differences between a person without a vision and a person with a vision, but there are many other factors that also goes along with that. So we need to define what is a vision, what is a goal, and what is an objective. Now, a vision is the overall picture of where you want to be, right? You can see yourself being there already, right? So, and then that can talk about your abilities, your achievements, experiences, your health. Where do you want to be with your health? Where do you see yourself in terms of a relationship and wealth? But then the question that you need to ask yourself when it gets to goals are, what do I want to achieve? So let's use an example. Let's talk about achievements. If I want to obtain my first degree, so I have a first degree, obtain a degree, and then I want to continue my postgraduate studies. So that are two aspects of achievement. But then you need to ask yourself, what must I do, or how will I achieve my goals? So in able for me to obtain my degree, I need to plan in advance, right? I need to study hard for exams. I need to make sure that I give 100% into all the tasks that is assigned, assignments, class tests, tutorials, practicals. I need to give 100% to allow me to obtain my degree. And if I am planning to do a postgraduate degree or want to do postgraduate studies, I need to ask myself while I'm still an undergrad, what are the requirements to be a postgraduate student? What type of programs are available for postgrad studies? Then you eventually need to apply. You need to find out whether there are bursaries. You need to find out whether you need to find your own supervisor, or are there a course coordinator? Do you need to then also do other related planning towards accommodation, when the year is starting. So all those things becomes objectives. So objectives are the smallest steps that you need to follow to allow you to achieve your goal. And once you achieve your goal, that contributes to your overall picture, to where you see yourself. Um, and this is just an indication of how your vision board might look like, but it all depends on what type of platforms you would like to use. So let's talk about the steps that goes from your vision board to success. Allow me to use driver's license as an example. So if my vision is, I see myself as a driver in a GTI, right? You know, that is not just one thing where you wake up one morning and discover that you are a driver of a GTI. So what you eventually need to do is you need to set the goals. You need to tell yourself, all right, the first thing that I need to get is my learner's license. And then I also need to get my driver's license. And then I eventually need to buy the GTI or whatever type of car you would wish to have. And once you have set the goals, then you need to bring into your objectives. But your objectives needs to be something that you are able to do every single day, right? And if it gets to your learner's license, a learner's license is something that could be done in a day or the day before. But for some people, it is required to study way in advance to prepare for the learner's license. And now, because you need to prepare way in advance, that becomes part of your daily productive plan. where you literally tell yourself, okay, today I will spend an hour, tomorrow I will spend 2 hours, the day thereafter I will take a break, and then I will continue having an hour and 2 hours respectively for Thursday and Friday again. So that is the way you go forward, and then you tick off as you go along. But I will explain more about your daily productive plan at the later stage of the presentation. But then when you realize, but if it gets to your drivers, which is actually some people requires 4 to 5 lessons when it gets to driver's license. And I think when it gets to driving, nerves is one of the first main things in the beginning of your drivers that you need to contain, because it might become a problem because your legs will be shaking, your hands, you're scared to turn the wheel, you forget about the blind spots and the observations that you need to do. So immediately you will be faced with challenges. But then once you have identified those challenges, you need to then sit down and write it down and say, but this is, or these are the challenges that have been faced. And then the next question you need to ask yourself, what should I do to overcome these challenges? And that is now where you need to start pulling in some resources, maybe go back to the learner's book, or go back to tutorials. I know even on DSTV nowadays, they have programs on how to drive a car on DSTV, where they teach other people how to drive a car. So then you can gather some tips there as well. So once you have seen, okay, but blind spots are a main issue, your nerves, and then you gather some information on what you can do to improve that. Once you have improved that, that means you're going to implement some changes. And once you have implemented some changes, you will then realize, okay, let's retry again. And once you've realized again, then you would most likely reach success. But sometimes success doesn't come that easily. Think about the guy that have invented the it took him about 1,000 times to redo it over to work eventually. So even if you fall 99 times, you need to stand up 100 times to reach success. And one thing about a quote that Einstein made about stupidity is that you can't do the same thing but expect a different result. So implement changes. That's why it's important for you to implement some changes, and also to evaluate whether the way that I'm going is successful, or it works, or it doesn't work. And when you have reached success, it's important for you to celebrate those small changes or that small success, because it's just you're gonna celebrate yourself for what you have accomplished. Because for some people, one goal could be a whole journey, right? It can be a whole journey. For others, it might be quick and fast. But because it's your journey, celebrate those small changes, those small victories. And once you have, when you are done, then you can start with a new goal. So that is the overall just steps that you can follow how to reach success. So let's talk about your vision board. Your vision board can be it can be anything that speaks to you. Some people prefer diaries. I am not good with a diary at all. Therefore, the notes app on the phone, that works for me. Because the reason why that works for me is because I will type out my notes, especially my vision board. I will type it out, I will screen grab it, and then I will save it as a screensaver. So every time I will unlock my phone, I will see that, but this is the promises that I've made to myself. I I had the tendency so I had this tradition, this personal tradition where, but a lot of people have it, where they write the New Year's resolution. It's New Year, you're festive, and it's happy times, and you write out the notes like this year, 2020, I'm going to achieve A, B, C, and D. But because you never write it down, you think about it and you tell yourself, like, this year's the year, I'm going to do it. But then because you don't have a constant reminder of what you have promised yourself, and the year does get hectic, look at where we are with the whole COVID-19 thing that happens, you tend to forget your goals. You tend to forget what you have promised yourself. So when it gets to December, you realize that, but you only have achieved some of the goals that you set out for yourself, but you could have done more if you only had the constant reminder. Therefore, I want to include in the presentation as well, having that supporting structure that will allow you to achieve more than you have planned, just having it saved all in your mind. Um, but the Notes app, I use the Notes app because I feel like, yeah, because I have it as a screensaver, I can I regularly see the promises that I've made to myself, and I'm also using a notebook. The reason for the notebook is I truly believe that there's no greater reminder than ink on a piece of paper. So making these notes, I will be able to track how far I have gone, and things that I have the things that I've got done, I will be able to record effectively. And the nice feeling of just ticking things off that you have achieved, there's one that's one of the greatest feelings that you can ever have. Some people would prefer pictures on where they see themselves, sticky notes. Recently, I've been watching a tutorial of the Trello. So Trello is one, it's also another platform that you can use. I'm not familiarized with it yet because I haven't used it, but a lot of people have recommended that as well. So you can see what platform works for you and just stick to it. All right. So I
Ricardo,
have, hi, Dr. May.
so I have two questions that I want to pose now, and you can say whether you're going to respond to it later or do you want to respond to it now.
Okay.
Avicard asks, I feel that I have the characteristics of a person with a vision, but I don't have a concrete idea of what the next 3 or 5 years may be. After graduating in 2007, that's 13 years ago, I'm doing my MPhil now at GIBS, also working full-time. The only vision I have for now is that I'm enrolling for a PhD at GIBS next year, more on self-improvement rather than material accumulation. So the question is really, how far ahead do you put your vision? And is it okay to have small time spans on your vision?
Thank you, Dr. Almi, for the question. Well, first of all, congratulations. For me, you have already came so far, and allow yourself, give yourself some credit to where you have, like, where for everything that you have achieved now. Um, 5 years is a good plan, right? A long-term goal of 5 years, but you can choose your own. You can choose to have it yearly. You can have it every second year, third year. But 5 years is a nice long-term goal where you can tell yourself, but this is where I see myself. But even if it gets to 5 years, for like the same analysis that I've used with when I asked myself when I was 18, where do I see myself over 5 years? And when I got to that age, I realized, but I didn't even achieve one of the long-term goals. But now I have an extra 5 years to eventually to get to that goal. But maybe at the time, I have planned to only have I don't know, just say a Toyota Taz, but over 10 years time, I could afford a GTI. So I don't think you should be hard on yourself if you do not achieve that goal. But what is important is like you still have that driven force to eventually get there where you want to be. And sometimes you are in a profession that does take a lot of your time, that prohibits you to get to the point where you want to be quickly, but because of work and other factors that could influence that, delays the process. But one thing that you need to remember, and this is what one of our former Miss South Africa said, a plan delayed is not necessarily a plan denied. So as long as you are able to achieve that goal eventually, I think you have achieved, you basically achieve success.
So, Ricardo, it's true that you can shift your own goalposts. You can have small steps initially, and
Yes.
then you can start to revisit those and revise your vision. And am I correct to say that one can also identify your own values? And once you've identified your values, you can from there very easily identify your vision, and you will have a purpose driven life. So the first step is to know where you are and what you want to be. And it's not all forgone. If you don't have a vision today, you can start to define and develop your own vision, and it can change from time to time.
That's 100% correct. And part of the presentation, which is also a bit later, I'm going to discuss on how to, why the board structure is so important, where that's, that's where you need to draft out what you want to achieve, and you have to discuss that with someone to keep you on track. If you should derail, that person um, should eventually then inform you about this is what you promised, and this is what you need. That but I will discuss that more as the presentation continues. So remember the objectives that I said we will discuss in detail. So I've covered in of the vision, the daily plan, that objectives you have you need to complete your objectives to achieve a goal, and then you need to achieve your goals to be able to complete or find that you had for yourself. So your daily productive plan is something that you need to do before you start. So you need to plan for. But in my case now, I joined when I can obviously and have my breakfast, and then once I have my cup of tea, I will then sit down and draw. This is what I want to do today. I will tell you in more detail how I go about my day, and I think this plan is what needs to cover your objectives.
Ricardo, you are breaking up again. Maybe did something change, Ricardo? You are breaking up again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better again.
Okay, sorry about that. So, so I'm gonna show you the daily productive plan. Let's just see if I can skip the slide. Right. So with the daily productive plan, so I have this template available in case anyone wants this template. I've created this about 3 years ago, and I'm still using this on a daily basis. So I'm gonna discuss the projects, I'm gonna discuss people, and I'm gonna discuss priorities. And this is a productive plan that you can use every single day to achieve your goal. Um, so let's talk about the first topic. So the first topic is projects. So there are three. So ideally, you need to set out 3 projects for yourself, right? So don't go more than 3 projects because of you might burn out yourself if you do more. So the projects are the largest part of your daily productive plan. And what you ideally need to do is um, you need to break it down even further. So your academics, new apartment, that's good. So this is real-time information that I'm giving you guys because I wanna share with you how I go about my day. Um, and then so if academics is my main objective, I then need to ask myself the smallest steps to achieve that final task, right? So as you guys know, I'm currently writing my PhD. So I will write project academics. And what do I need to do today? I need to read some articles, right? Because I need to see if I can make any changes with my discussion of my PhD dissertation. And then what can I draw from my whole study to write a conclusion? And obviously, I need to complete my reference list. And once I'm done, I need to submit my document to my supervisor. But reading a document, proofreading a discussion, writing a conclusion, all these things takes quite amount of time. Therefore, if I have when I finish one of these, I will tick it off immediately and move on to another. And then once I am on lunchtime, um, once I'm on lunchtime, for example, then I can quickly shift my mind to project number 2. My partner and I recently moved into a department. So at the time we had to view a place, we need to pay a deposit, we need to submit some security documents. So then I will literally write down what do we have to do today to get it done, right? And then eventually we did that. The past Saturday, it was my father's 50th celebration. So I had to buy him a key. I had to print out the invitation. It was the whole booking of the restaurant for his lunch, all the kind of things. And this is then how I will do one section in the morning, one probably around lunchtime, and one late afternoon. And then I will just tick it off. This is what I could have accomplished in one particular day. So ideally, to summarize this, just have 3 main projects of your objectives and then just break it down even further. 5 things that you need to do to achieve a particular task a day. Only stick to 3 projects. 4 projects is it's a bit too much, but you know yourself better, so you can do what you can do. Also within a day, within a day, you have people that you need to contact, and then you have people that you need to get feedback from. So for this presentation, I had to obviously submit my bio for Golden Key. So then I had to sit down and type it out and then email it to Golden Key. And then I also need to make sure that I had to invite some friends for my father's 50th. I had to request a meeting with my supervisor. So these are activities that I need to do to make contact with someone else. But then there are certain things that I need to get feedback from other people. And then you can basically just slot in who you need feedback from, when and how, and in what format. So these are also part of my daily plan. That's why I even just have in my day I have a section just by where I need to work on my laptop in terms of emailing everyone, give responses, and submit documents when need be. But then the third part of a daily productive plan is that priorities. What do I need to do today to get it done? For example, you need to buy some electricity. Otherwise, you don't have electricity at home, so you need to get it done today. One of my, my, rear screens, I don't know how it happened, but it was broken. So I had to replace it. So I need to do that today. Otherwise, I need to use a black bag to cover my 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 rear screen. So things, especially, and also I have space book in the library because of the whole COVID-19. Our library only allows 50 people, so I need to book my space to be part of that 50 to have access to the library to write up. So that is something that I need today to make it better for tomorrow. And those are the three main aspects of a daily productive plan that will allow you to to achieve your goal much to achieve a goal efficiently, and it's a constant everyday exercise. So you will finish your goal much faster. One of the last aspects that I want to talk about, and I think this is also linked to the question that we have previously, is to talk about the support structure. And I'm going to explain to you how I go about my support structure. So remember, in the beginning of the year, we have that New Year's resolution, but instead of keeping it in your mind, I have decided to literally write it down in a book. And when I wrote my things down, I have identified someone. You can either identify a friend, your family, or your partner. But I identified obviously my partner to discuss my plans for the year. And what I do is I will send my partner a formal invitation on email and make then we either book a place at a restaurant or we book a place at a coffee shop, wherever, but I'm making it like we literally having for that session, we have a professional relationship. And what we then do is we discuss my progress for first, I will say for year 2020, I want to finish my PhD. For year 2020, I would love to travel. For year 2020, I need to look for what I want to do post PhD. So just for example, those are actually three things that is on my plan for 2020. So to finish in 2020, I need to discuss. So what I then do is I will say, obviously with a PhD, you have your lab work, you have a thesis to get done. Thesis is divided into different chapters. So when we have our connect or coffee session, then I will say, I have finished my chapter 1. But my challenge with chapter 1 was, for example, I feel like I haven't read a lot of material on it. I feel I still want to challenge myself to improve in that, to improve my chapter, whether it is grammar, whether it is content, whether it's structure. I want to focus on that. But I feel like I need to do a short course on how to structure my chapter properly. And I think that was one of the main challenges. And I also feel like another main challenge was language, for example. Because language is my second, English is my second language, sorry, and I'm Afrikaans. So language could be sometimes a bit of a challenge. And then we will identify, okay, so how can you go about the language situation? There are certain tools available that you have that Grammarly, you have that pro writing ad, you have Quillbot. So there's a lot of tools available. How you then can overcome that writing challenge. And in terms of structure, you can read the previous thesis. You can get more of other scientific articles. That is where you get your information, where you can get over information from, and then try again. So then 2-3 months down the line, so up until today, we meet every month to discuss our progress. And then when it gets to the meeting again, I will then make notes on what I have achieved, what were my main challenges, how can I go about it. And then when we meet again for the following meeting, I will say, okay, I have finished my chapter 1. I have overcome my main challenges. But for from today until the next meeting, these are the following goals that I would love to achieve. Now, because you have a constant, we meet once a month. So every month I will look at the very much document that I have written in the beginning of the year. So I can track whether I have achieved or whether I still need to do some improvement with regards to that. And eventually, when it gets to the end of the year, I must say I achieved much more of my goals that I've set out by doing this method, having regular meetings with my partner to discuss what my vision is and what my plan is for 2020 than I have done previously just by thinking about my New Year's resolution and just save it at like my conscious mind. And this then makes me more excited to challenge myself more, to achieve more. And ideally, I get where I want to be. And then when you are between the period of your previous meeting and your next meeting, that's where you need to challenge yourself. Start with the things that you couldn't get done previously. First, finish that so that you can give your full attention on the next goal. And I think that is basically the content I want to share. Take your time, listen to your body. That's one thing that COVID have taught me is to listen to my body. Don't overcommit and take your time, but also resting is just as important as working for your goal. And also be quite realistic on how long it might take. One thing that I believe when it gets to my vision board is rather overestimate time than to underestimate. Because if you overestimate and you finish in a relative good time and there are still time left, then you find a replacement goal to achieve, then now you underestimate how long it will take, and then you will become overwhelming. You will feel demotivated. It will affect your whole process. So rather overestimate how long it will take and underestimate. Productive planner that I discussed with you guys works well with the calendar, because the daily productive plan goes on a day-to-day basis, so it doesn't take in consideration what's going to happen for 2 weeks or what needs to be submitted over 3 weeks. So it works very well with the calendar. And then your support structure is your personal advisory board. Talk about what you honestly struggle with. Ask for advice if you don't know where to go and what to do. And constantly remind yourself what you have promised and try to attain that goal before the end of 2020 or whatever time period you have set up for yourself. Lastly, and most importantly, celebrate small victories. And that is where I want to end up for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the content that I have prepared you guys. I also want to thank the Golden Key team for their assistance in this whole platform. Um, for helping me also to share with the broader community how I achieve my goals and how I go about my vision. And lastly, this is just the announcement for all the participants. Thank you so
Before we
much.
get there, Ricardo, before we get to the announcement, somebody asked some advice that her biggest weakness is to overcome that the person overcommit and get spread out too thin. How can she strategize against this?
For the question, Ami. Yeah, I think you take it day by day, honestly, day by day, and take it um, one at a time. That's why that's why I bring daily productive plan, because that is how I go about things. I have often found myself over too overcommitted, and I've realized that I'm not giving 100% to whatever task I'm doing, because I have divided attention. I need to be here and there at the same time. But breaking your projects down and try your day on a daily basis to do 3 projects at a time, and realize that I didn't finish project 1, for example. That's the very first thing. The project you didn't finish is the first project that you start following them, how you to go further. Um, but
Ricardo, you're breaking up again. I don't know whether you changed position.
sorry about that. So going
No, you break up. I think your signal is tired or something. I'm not sure.
All right.
All
Can you
right.
hear me
So,
now, Dr. Ami?
yes, I do. I do. Now it's much better.
Apologies for that. I'm not sure what is wrong with the internet.
It gets
But
tired.
going on. um, so getting through the day on a daily basis, getting through the projects on a daily basis is the best advice I can give. Um, and take one project at a time, because that would avoid exhaustion. But you can also then track that you just to see that I actually made a lot of progress.
And one more, and I'm going to make it the last question. What would your advice be to those who plan ahead, but often focus too much on plan Bs and lose focus on fishing up on their plan A? So they get distracted.
Yeah, that is that is a good discussion regarding being unproductive, right? Especially when it gets to distractions. Distractions is a tough for being unproductive. I would say it's important to have a plan B, right? It is important, especially if plan A doesn't work. Have always have something in the pipeline, and I will, if I want to, for example, my plan for my PhD, post PhD, is to do a postdoc. Um, I have a 75% plan, which is my plan A, to try to stay in academic, and also to be a researcher, a lecturer, and obviously teaching science. But then I also have a plan B, which is going into the industry. I don't give a lot of attention to my plan B, but it is still part of my plan. So ideally, what is also possible then, once plan A have worked, I can still implement plan B. Then plan B, for example, can become my side hustle while I am still busy with my plan A. So my honest advice is both are quite important, and you need to have something. I don't want to say to fall on, but to fall forward on. Because if plan A doesn't work, you need to have a plan B. And just discard plan B and plan A doesn't work, then you have no plan. But don't allow, like I said, 75-25 is a nice separation in terms of dividing your energy into it.
Thank you very much, Ricardo. I'm going to ask you, are you willing to share your presentation with us to place on the YouTube with the recording?
Yes, I am, Dr. So,
Thank you. Thank you
yes,
very much, because many people ask for the templates part. So that will be
yes.
great if you can do that. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I see that our signal gets worse. People are very appreciative. We will send you all the thank yous that people posted in the chat. We really appreciate you as an exemplary Golden Key member who really do a lot to improve our brand, to explain what Golden Key is about, but to live being a Golden Key member and focus on leadership, community service, and also academics. We appreciate you, we love you, and go well. Thank you, everyone. With that, I'm going to say goodbye and have a safe evening, a great evening, and we'll talk again. And make sure that you enrolled with Golden Key, the Academy. So go to academy.goldenkey.org and make sure that you enroll to get all the latest development on continuous professional development in the Golden Key Academy. I'm allowing people to still just say goodbye and say thank you.
Once again, thanks everyone for your support. Yes, so you're more than welcome to hear from them. Thank you so much. Thanks, Golden Key.
We thank you, Ricardo.